Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing the top 10 most anticipated books of the month, so let's get started. Number 10 for me is Dark Knights of Steel, Tales from the Three Kingdoms, issue 1. So we just get to see a little bit more from each of the big players of this series through different writers writing them as well. So it's kind of an anthology. I'm curious to see if there's going to be any build-up and any story progression here, but also I'm just want to see more from these characters. I want to see more from Superwoman. I want to see more from Kal-El and Batman. So love this world and can't get enough of it. Moving on to number 9, which is the Roadie issue 1. This is a horror book from Tim Seeley, and I love Tim Seeley's writing. I'm a huge fan of Revival, really like hack and slash as well, so to see him diving back into a horror book definitely has me interested, and I love books that have to do with music. I really enjoy seeing how comics portrays music, so it kind of has all the elements I really enjoy in a comic book, so that is why it's number 9. Moving on to number 8, which is Exterminators, issue 1, and this book we get to see a lot of my favorite characters, and a lot of characters that I'm just curious to see how they're going to interact. So we have Jubilee, Boom Boom, and then of course one of my favorites, Dazzler, and they're all light type characters, and I'm not currently reading X-Men books. I'm hoping this is just enough detached from the normal X-Men stuff that I'm going to enjoy it. So it just seems like an odd book in a great way. Like, I like that it just seems really different. So that is why it's number 8. Number 7 for me is Fantastic Four, issue 47. This is written by one of my friends, David Pepose. And I love Invisible Woman. And he has said that it has to do with Die Hard and having the same tone as that. So I want to see, Invisible Woman in like a Die Hard scenario. And I know it's like a tie-in kind of buffer between two different creative teams. So I want to see how that buffer is going to work and just see, a good beginning, middle, and end story for Invisible Woman. Moving on to number 6, which is Briar, issue 1. This is written by Christopher Cantwell, and I did not have this book on my radar until I was making this list, and I love a good fairy tale, and it has to do with Sleeping Beauty if she wasn't saved, and just all the artwork looks so cool and so gritty, and I love when we get to see like an action side of a princess story. And it's only 4 issues as well. I think a good 4-issue miniseries is always nice to have on your pull list as well. A good, again, beginning, middle, and end. Moving on to number 5, which is the 06 Protocol, issue 1. Another book that was not originally on my radar, and I do love a good indie book, and it has to do with a mother-daughter team up after something has happened to to the wife's husband. And again, I like a good action, female-driven series, and I love a good family dynamic. So I'm just curious to see what this title is going to end up bringing. Moving on to number 4, which is Vanish, issue 1. I don't know much about the premise of this series, but it is Ryan Stegman and it's Donny Cates. So obviously we have the Venom team back, and I know this is kind of their new chapter of their new creator-owned books, and I'm very curious to see what they're going to bring with this one. And I was a huge fan of Crossover and Donny and Baby Teeth as well. I think Donny Cates does well on every single series, but he does a really good job with this creator-owned book. So curious to see what this is going to be about, and I kind of want to go in blind. I don't want to know the premise because I think that's going to make it have a bigger impact. So moving on to number 3, which is Tim Drake Robin. Love Tim. And I think Tim really does deserve a whole series to explore his character. There's a lot of different stories that could be explored. He's a little bit more involved in the Bat family as being the Robin of the Chip Zdarsky series. We also obviously have his bisexual storyline that we've been seen touched upon a little bit, but never has had the room to breathe. This is the same writer who's been doing the Batman Urban Legends stuff as well. So very excited for this one. Moving on to number 2, Batman vs. Robin, issue 1. And, World's Finest has just been the world's finest. It's been such a good series, and I'm so curious how this series that has felt so out of continuity will be one of the bigger events of DC, where it's going to be Batman versus Damian, where that's been really building up in another run, which was Joshua Williamson's run. How's Mark Waid going to pick up the pieces? Will there be pieces picked up? And what does this mean for their dynamic? I'm so excited for this issue, or this event. Moving on to number 1, which is the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 100. Of course, I've been loving Power Rangers. This is Ryan Parrott's last issue on Power Rangers, and everything he does is big. So I'm very excited to see how the biggest issue will end up being, and exactly if it will be an ending or not. You know, will it be like, okay, everything's tied together, let's go to the next creative team, or will the next creative team have a lot of toys to play with in their next run? So there's just a lot of great open-endedness to build up to this issue, and you know, this obviously is a big issue for Ryan, but also a big issue for the franchise as a whole, getting up to issue 100. So excited as a Power Ranger fan and as a fan of Ryan's writing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what are books you're most anticipating for the month, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.